Hey guys, how you going? Here with Bo. Welcome to another tutorial. Today's tutorial, we're going to walk through exactly how to set up a Trezor Cryptocurrency Hardware wallet. Now the Trezor Cryptocurrency Hardware wallet is the main competitor to the Ledger Nano S hardware wallet. So in this video, we're going to go through exactly how to set one of these little bad boys up from scratch. Now this is fresh out of the box. This is a Trezor Black Cryptocurrency Hardware wallet. We're going to plug it in, we're going to update the firmware, we're going to download the necessary software to allow that connection to the computer, and then we're going to transfer some Bitcoin and Ethereum from an exchange and from an online wallet to the device, and then we're going to transfer some off the device. Before that, we'll actually go through all the major features of the device. We'll have a look at the software, which is done via a web interface with Trezor, and we'll go through all the different functions and features that you need to know when you're setting your Trezor up. Now, fresh out of the box, you've obviously got your Trezor device itself, which you're obviously going to need. The other thing it comes with is this very small USB cable. We're going to use the cable off the Ledger because it's far longer and it's a lot easier to use. The other two things you're going to need are these two cards here. Well, you'll at least need one of them. And this is where you're going to write down your 24-word seed phrase. The 24 words are going to be displayed on your device as you set it up. This small card here is what will allow you to restore your device and access your funds if you ever lose the device itself or if it ever malfunctions in some way. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's plug in the device and get started on setting it up. Okay, so the first step is just to plug your device in. Using your small cable, plug this into the USB of your computer and then plug the other end into your Trezor device. Okay, so I've plugged one end into my computer. Here's the other micro USB side. Now I'm just going to plug this into the Trezor. Now, as soon as you plug in the device, it's going to light up and it's going to tell you to go to trezor.io/start. Now, as you can see there on the screen, that's what it's going to display. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to come to Google and we're just going to type in Trezor. Now, when you see the website here that says trezor.io, making sure that it does say exactly that, because there are scammers and phishers out there that will actually advertise fake websites. So we want to go to trezor.io. So we'll click on that and we'll wait for it to load up. Now, scrolling down the page, you're going to see an option here that says New Trezor Owner. So we'll click on Start Now, and then this will give us an option for two devices. Now, our device, which is the Trezor one, is the one on the left here. So we're going to click on that. Now, it might take a little while to load, but it's basically just trying to sync to your wallet. Now, as you can see here, it's presented me with the option of creating a new wallet or recovering an old wallet. Now, you may have got a prompt at this point to download something called Trezor Bridge. Now, I have already downloaded it and installed it, but if you haven't, you're going to have to download and install that software. That software just allows your Trezor device to actually connect to the web browser. So make sure you do that and then come back to this page. Alright, so we're going to click Create New because we're not recovering a wallet, we are creating a new profile on a brand new device. So clicking on Create New, the software is just going to run in the background and it's going to set up the device. Now, as you can see here, it says your Trezor is ready. The pop-up box will try and familiarize you with a few features, but we're just going to skip straight to the wallet to get this thing set up. So clicking on the button here, continue to the wallet. Now, as you can see, this is the main interface that you will be using with your Trezor, and you will also see that on the device itself, it's going to say need backup on the front screen. That's because you haven't actually run through the backup process of having those seed words displayed for you to write down on your small personal recovery seed card. So before we run through the features of the device and how to actually send some cryptocurrencies, let's back it up. There's a reason why it prompts you to back it up first, is because it's always the most important thing. So let's run through that process by first off clicking on this big orange button here that says create a backup in 3 minutes. So it's going to give you a prompt here saying before creating a backup you should know, and essentially what it's saying is that the 24 words that it's going to display should be absolutely kept private, never be displayed in front of a camera, never given to anyone you don't trust or anyone that you want accessing your funds, and to keep it in a safe place. So clicking on I understand and agree, we'll press continue. Now what it's going to tell you is to write down the recovery words that are displayed on the device, and the place that you write them down is in your small recovery seed card. Now, on this card will be the space for 24 words. Now, in the order that the words are displayed is the same order that you write down these words in the boxes. Just being careful that the numbers here go from top to bottom in these columns. So 1 to 6 and then 7 to 12, 13 to 18, and 19 to 24. So just be careful of that and make sure that you don't write your words horizontally when starting this process. The reason why is because it's critically important to have the words written down in the exact right order. Otherwise, the backup seed will not work. Right, so the first word is now displayed on the device. As you can see here, the first word is displayed. So what I now need to do with a pen is write down that word in box number 1, and once I'm finished writing down that word, I click on the button here on the right, which actually says next, and that's going to display the next seed word. So we'll run through that process from words 1 to 24. So I've now written down the first word. To display the next word, again, we just want to press that small button here that says next, and that's going to display our second word to be written down. Word number 3, again pressing next. Now what you will notice during this process is that the application on the desktop actually knows which word you are up to, even though you're cycling through on the device. So as you can see, I'm up to word number 4, and as it shows on the desktop, it's telling me to write down the 4th word from the Trezor into the recovery seed card. So the actual application knows what's happening on the device at the same time, and you will also notice that it's not actually displaying the seed word on the desktop. The reason for this is it's additional layers of security, just in case someone might be behind you actually writing down these words, or there may be a camera located if you're doing this in a public place that may actually record those 24 word seed phrase. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get through these 24 words. Okay, so I've just written down the 24 words on my little card here. I'm not going to show you those actual words, but what the device is now telling me is it's showing a small sign that says again, and what that's going to do is once I press the button under the again, is it's going to cycle through those 24 words as a check, so you can actually check that you've written down those words with the correct spelling and in the correct order. Okay, so we're going to go through that process now. So I've just gone through the 24 words and confirmed that I have written them down in the correct order and with the correct spelling that the device actually displayed. Now it's giving me the option to finish the process by displaying a small word here that says finish with a tick sign. Now I'm going to press the corresponding button to that to finish the backup process. Now as you can see, after I press the button, it's now displaying my Trezor. This is the small home screen, and you can see the application is actually telling me that I've successfully backed up my device. So let's now go through the rest of the process by setting up a pin and actually naming our device. So what we're going to do is we're going to press continue. So pressing continue again, this is going to give us the option to name our device. Now you can change this later, so don't worry too much if you get it wrong or you don't know what to put in there. For this demo, I'm just going to call mine Bo's Trezor and hit confirm to continue. It's going to ask me if I want to confirm that name on the device itself by giving me a small option to either cancel or confirm. I'm going to confirm it by pressing the corresponding button underneath the confirm word. Okay, now it's telling me I've chosen a wonderful name, which is great. We're going to hit continue and go on and set a pin. It's now going to ask me to confirm again on the device if I want to set up a new pin. So again, pressing the corresponding button underneath that display word confirm, we'll press confirm and we'll move on to setting a pin. Here's the tricky part. On the desktop it's displayed 9 boxes, each with a dot, and that's for me to actually set the pin. Now the numbers are random, and it does this again for an additional layer of security. The actual numbers and how they're displayed are shown on the device itself. As you can see here, they are the numbers. So looking at the location of the numbers on the device, you'll have to press the corresponding box to actually set that particular number. Now, just like naming the device, you can change the pin later, but just make sure for security purposes that you can actually remember this pin. All right, so I'm going to set a pin. Again, looking at the device and the location of the numbers is how I'm going to know which numbers I want to use. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm only going to choose 4 digits for this pin. Again, you can't actually see them because the numbers are displayed on the device. It's just that additional layer of security. So I'm going to hit enter pin and confirm. It's going to ask us to reconfirm the pin we just put in, and you may notice on your device it's actually randomly assigned those numbers to different locations. So again, looking at the device for the number locations is how we're going to know which numbers are actually allocated to which box. Okay, so we've confirmed the pin and it's now told us, good job, your pin is set. So we're going to press continue to move on to the next step. And that's it. We'll just press continue again and our device is all set up and ready to go. So pressing on finish. So here's the home screen, and this is what it's going to look like every time you plug in your device. You can see here it says Bo's Trezor, and by default it's selected my Bitcoin wallet. So before we run through the different wallets, let's actually look at some of the features and functions and how you can change some of the settings in the device itself. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on Bose Trezor here to take us to those settings. So like I said before, the name of your device or the label, you can change at any time. You can see here it's going to give me the option to change the label, or I can even change the PIN. Now below that is the option to show your public key. Now it's highly unlikely you're going to need to do this, but just be aware if you do share your public key, people will have access to actually know how much funds you have. They won't have access to your funds, they can't steal your funds, but they can do a search on a block explorer and actually work out how much money you're holding on your Trezor. So next up, clicking on the home screen tab, this actually gives you an option to customize your device and to make it look a little bit unique. So what you can actually do here, these are preset images. You can see here it's got the Nyan Cat in Bitcoin. So we can actually click on that, and then up here there's an option to set as home screen. So clicking on set as home screen, it's going to ask us to put in our PIN that we put in earlier. So again, looking at the device and the location of those numbers, we know which boxes to press. So we'll put in our PIN code and then we'll hit enter PIN. It's going to ask us to confirm on the Trezor. We'll click the confirm button, and now I have a Nyan Cat as the image on my Trezor, which is pretty cool. And it also lets you add in custom images, but we're not going to go through that in this tutorial. Now moving over to the advanced tab, it's going to show you your firmware version. Now when you first plugged in your device, your firmware may have automatically updated, or it may have prompted you to update your firmware. That's fine, I had already updated mine before this tutorial. Now we're not going to go through all of these options, but essentially it allows you to add passphrase encryptions to your wallets. It allows you to disable the PIN that you previously set. It also allows you to check your recovery seed against what you wrote down if you're having any issues or any worries about those words that you wrote down. You can also wipe the device and clear it if you want to reset it for whatever reason. So that's the basics of the Trezor. Let's now actually send some Bitcoin to the device from an exchange and go through the process. Over here on the left here, you'll see where it says Bitcoin. We can drop this menu down here and it's going to show you all the available cryptocurrencies that can be stored on the Trezor. So we've got Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Dash, Litecoin, Zcash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and NEM. Now Ethereum is where all the ERC20 tokens are also going to be kept, but we won't go into that just now. First off, we're going to start off Bitcoin. So clicking on Bitcoin here, this is going to take us to the Bitcoin wallet. So here you'll see it says no transactions yet. All that means is we haven't sent or received any Bitcoin to this particular wallet. Moving on to the next tab, we'll click on receive, and what it's going to do is it's going to show you the first address to send Bitcoin to for it to come to the Trezor. So what we can do is we can click on show full address, and that's going to display the full address we need to send some Bitcoin. What it will actually do is not only will it display it on the desktop, but it will also display it on the Trezor as well. It's got a QR code option here where you can press and it will actually display the QR code for that wallet address. You might have someone close to you with a mobile device that can scan this QR code and send some Bitcoin straight to it, which just is a little bit of a neat added extra function. Now you'll also see a tab here that says more addresses. What this allows us to do is add multiple Bitcoin addresses to our wallet. We might do this if we're receiving Bitcoin from different sources. We might be receiving some Bitcoin from a friend and we just want to keep that one address so we know that any Bitcoin coming to that address is coming from that particular person or that particular company. Moving on to the next tab, we've got the send tab. Here's where we put the address of the recipient that we want to send some Bitcoin to. We can also put in the amount of Bitcoin here, or, which is a really handy feature, you can put in a fiat value and it will automatically calculate the amount of Bitcoin required to match that fiat value. So if we wanted to click on AUD for Australian dollars and we want to click on $250, it will automatically tell us the amount of Bitcoin needed based on the current market rate. So let's go back to receive and let's send some Bitcoin from an exchange to the Trezor. Okay, so we've come back to receive. Now what we're going to do is we're going to send some Bitcoin from a Ajax wallet to the Trezor device just to run through that process. So over here on receive, you can see that fresh address. Now what I want to do is I want to copy that recipient address, which is my Trezor address, into my Ajax wallet. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on show full address. Again, it's telling me to check the address on the Trezor, so I can see that the address is the same, which is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy that address. I'm then going to come to my Ajax wallet. I'm going to click on send, and then I'm going to paste that address into the recipient field. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm only going to send a little bit of Bitcoin, but before I press send, as a matter of good practice, I'm always going to check that the last few numbers or letters in the address are the same as where I want to send it to. So as you can see here, the last four are 6VGP, going back to checking my address on the Trezor. The last you can see is 6VGP, and I can also confirm that on the device as well. So now I know with absolute certainty that I am sending that Bitcoin to the right location. So coming back to Jax, we're just going to click on send. It's asking me just to confirm the transaction, and then I'm going to press on confirm. Now the transaction has been broadcast to the Bitcoin network. Within probably about 20 minutes to half an hour, that should appear in our Trezor wallet. Now on the Trezor web application, if you actually come over to transactions, it's actually going to show you that transaction that has been broadcast to the Bitcoin network to come into this wallet. So Trezor has already picked up on the fact that there is an incoming transaction coming to this wallet. So incredibly, that transaction came very, very quickly, much faster than I thought. I was expecting 20 minutes to half an hour, but the Bitcoin network at the moment obviously isn't very congested at all. So the transaction came literally within a minute. Now, as you can see under transactions, it's picked up on the fact that I've sent $20 worth of Bitcoin to this wallet. You can see the current rate, and you can see under here it says received, but down the bottom under transactions, you will see that it says unconfirmed. So it's picked up on the fact that a Bitcoin transaction has been sent to this wallet address, but it knows that transaction hasn't been confirmed on the Bitcoin network just yet. So while we're waiting for the Bitcoin to come, let's send some Ethereum from an exchange to the Ethereum wallet. So up here, we'll click on this little drop down box and we'll go to Ethereum. Now what it's going to ask you is if you want to go to My Ether Wallet or My Crypto. For this example, we're going to use My Ether Wallet. So we'll click on that one. So then going to load up the My Ether Wallet web interface. Now out of these options, you want to click on the Trezor. That's how we want to access our wallet. And then we're going to click on Connect to Trezor. This small pop-up box will open up. It's then going to ask if we want to export the public key for Ether account 1. We do, so we're going to click on export, and then you will see it's going to load up some wallets for us. Now this top part here where it says select HD derivation path, this stands for hierarchical determination. We don't really need to worry too much about that. So we're going to come down here and it's going to show us 5 addresses. Now these 5 addresses can be used to send Ethereum or ERC20 tokens to. You can use any one you want. They all work the same. They're 5 individual addresses associated with this wallet. But for this example, we're going to press on the top address. So clicking that will then click unlock your wallet. So it's now loaded up our Ethereum wallet with the My Ether Wallet interface. You're going to see the to address here, the amount to send, the gas limit, our account address, that's our wallet address. If we scroll down here, we can click on show all tokens. This is going to give us a list of all the ERC20 tokens that are listed on My Ether Wallet. All right, so let's go over to Binance and send some Ethereum to this wallet address. Now I've already sent some Ethereum to the Binance account. It's already sitting there waiting to be sent. If you haven't used Binance before and you want to know how to go through and actually register an account, I'll put a link up the top right now. All right, so what I need is my Ethereum address, and then I need to put in the amount of Ethereum I want to send. So coming back to My Ether Wallet, what I want to do is I want to copy this address here. I want to come back to Binance and I want to paste in here the Ethereum withdrawal address. Now again, we want to reconfirm that those addresses are correct and that we've got the right one. So here we can see 5FCE. If we come back to My Ether Wallet, we can see 5FCE. We can even have the option to display the address on the Trezor. So let's do that just to double check. It's going to load up here. So it's just loaded on the device, 5FCE, okay? So we know that's correct. Coming back to Binance, I'll put in how much I want to send, and then I'll press submit. Just need to put in my 2FA code, then I just need to confirm an email as well. All right, so that transaction has now been confirmed and the Ethereum should be on its way to my Trezor wallet. Now, a good way to check if you want to know where your transactions are up to is you can always go to the Block Explorer for your particular wallet address and see how that's traveling. Now, one way to do this is we'll go to myetherwallet.com and you'll see here a small section that says transaction history. All we need to do is click on here, etherscan.io, and that will actually take us to our particular wallet address. Now, at the moment, there's nothing showing because the transaction only just got sent, but let's just wait a little while and we'll refresh in a few minutes and the transaction should be showing. So I've just refreshed it and now we can see the transaction is on its way. We can see the transaction hash from and to. So that transaction from Binance is currently processing. It's been broadcast to the Ethereum network and it should be on its way to our wallet soon. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that to confirm, let's go and check to see if our Bitcoin has been confirmed. So what we need to do is we need to re-put in that address, so trezor.io, and what this is going to do, it's going to bring us to the main website, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to shortcut the wallet address so we know we've always got the correct website. So scrolling down the page, you'll see go to wallet. We'll click on that one, click on our Trezor one. Now the address in the top here, wallet.trezor.io, we're going to bookmark that one. So let's actually save that, and then we know we've always got the correct address. Okay, so it's loaded straight up and we can see that the Bitcoin has been confirmed. We can see that a transaction has come in a few seconds ago. We can see the amount of Bitcoin and it no longer says unconfirmed. So we know that transaction has now been confirmed and is now sitting in our Bitcoin wallet. Now, while we're still waiting for the Ethereum transaction to confirm on the network, let's send a little bit of Bitcoin back to the Ajax wallet so we can run through that process. Now, over on the tab here, we'll go to send, and then here's the address of the recipient that we need to put in. So coming to the Ajax wallet and remembering this can be any wallet. It doesn't matter if this is an exchange wallet, this might be one of your friends' wallets. It doesn't actually matter which wallet you are sending this to, so long as you are using a correct Bitcoin address. For the Ajax wallet, you can see it displays here your current Bitcoin address. So all we'll do is we'll just copy that to clipboard, we'll come back to the Trezor and we'll paste that in. Again, that good practice of just double checking the last four letters here. We've got YPFG. Coming back to Ajax, we've got YPFG, so that's all good. Now, what we'll actually do is I'll change this to Australian dollars, and I only want to send $10. It's automatically going to populate that Bitcoin for me. Now, the fee here is basically the speed at which you want to send the transaction. This is really only relevant if there's a lot of congestion on the Bitcoin network. At the moment, there's not any, so I'm just going to keep it as normal because that's pretty cheap. And I'm happy with that. And you can see here it says $10.05 AUD, so it's essentially 5 cents to send this transaction, which is absolutely nothing. So I'm going to click on send. You then have to confirm this on your device, so it's going to bring up a little message saying confirm sending X amount of BTC to the address that you've earlier specified. I'm just going to click on the confirm button and that should go through. Okay, so I've confirmed the action on my device. It's just asked me to reconfirm sending that Bitcoin, so I'm just going to press on confirm again. Okay, and it's done. You'll see a green box here that says success. This transaction number was successfully sent. If you want to check the progress of that transaction, all you need to do is actually click on that set of numbers, because it's actually a hyperlink, and it will bring you to a block explorer where you can actually track the progress of that Bitcoin being sent to the wallet that you sent it to. So it's really as easy as that. That is how easy it is to send and receive Bitcoin to and from your Trezor wallet. Let's go and check on the Ethereum to see if that's arrived. So clicking on the Ethereum here, we'll click on go to My Ether Wallet. It's brought up My Ether Wallet here. We'll close that. We'll go to Trezor, connect to Trezor. We want to export the Ether account 1. Click on your address, unlock your wallet, and you can see here there's 0.1 Ethereum. So that Ethereum has actually arrived now. It's been confirmed on the network, and it's all good. The Ethereum has arrived. And again, that's how easy it is. The only tricky thing is with the Ethereum is you have to use it through the My Ether Wallet interface. Now let's go through actually sending some Ethereum to a Ajax wallet so we can run through that process as well. Now, at the moment, we're under send Ethereum tokens, so we can see this to address. That's the recipient address we need to send it to. So let's go to our Ajax wallet, grab an address, and send some Ethereum. Okay, so I've just put in my Ethereum address from my Ajax wallet. I've put in the amount I want to send. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press generate transaction. I'm not going to change the gas limit because it doesn't need to be changed from the default. It then just asks me to confirm on the device. It says check recipient address on your device and follow further instructions. So I can see on my device, I can see the address is the correct one to send it to. I'm going to click confirm. It's going to ask me to confirm again. I'm going to press confirm again. It's then going to load on My Ether Wallet. So the next step is to click on send transaction, and then yes, I'm sure, make transaction. So that's all done. You can see the green box down here says that my transaction has been broadcast to the network. So I've essentially just sent some Ethereum from my Trezor back to my Ajax wallet. So guys, it really is as easy as that. Sending these other cryptocurrencies is going to follow much the same process. If you're new to cryptocurrencies, it may be complicated the first few times you do it, but once you've done it a few times, you'll realize it is quite simple. The main thing just to pay attention to and to make note of is that it doesn't matter which wallet address you're sending to, whether that's an exchange or that's a Ajax wallet or if it's one of your friends' wallet, so long as the address belongs to the right cryptocurrency that you're sending to. So always just make sure you're sending Bitcoin to a Bitcoin address or Ethereum to an Ethereum address, or Dash to a Dash address. That's the most important thing you need to be aware of. If you haven't actually bought a Trezor yet and you are thinking about buying one, personally, I think this is one of the best hardware devices on the market. If you are interested, they're around about $100 or $150 to $160, just depending on where you live. I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in picking one up. So that's it, guys. That is the tutorial done for the Trezor hardware wallet for sending and receiving Bitcoin and Ethereum and for setting it up. I really hope you got some value out of it, and I hope it helped in some way. Make sure to leave a like if you liked the content or if it helped in some way. That lets me know that this tutorial provided value. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to click the button, come on board if you want to see future content. Just want to say thanks heaps for watching, guys. My name's Bo, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.